He lurked in the shadows, waiting and hoping she wouldn't take a different route. This was her usual room. He knew that. He knew her.
Ghost of Me, the new book by Amanda Steele, can be found at Amazon, Kobo, Waterstones, and many, many other places. Hi guys, this is Andy N. Live from Comics Unity. We first started Comics Unity off around about 18 months ago with just me and Michael, and Amanda has come on board since. But the podcast is designed to cover the latest and breaking news in the world of comics, whether in relation to TV programs, films, books, general news, and of course comics themselves. Although a lot of our episodes are now on various platforms such as this, the complete archive can be found over at Comics Unity Podcast Series. That's all one word. Comics Unity Podcast Series, full stop, bandcamp, full stop.com. Enjoy. Take care. Bye bye. Hi guys, Andy N. Back in the house of Comics Unity. By myself again tonight, but we're doing another comics review. The comic we're going to do tonight is a new one called Friday. This is on Panel Syndicate and it is created by Edgar Brubaker with Marcos Martin and Musta Vince. To begin with, we'll read the blurb. Friday Fritz Hughes spent her childhood solving crimes and digging up occult secrets with her best friend Lancelot Jones, the smartest boy in the world. But that was the past. Now she's in college, started a new life on her own. Except when Friday comes home for the holidays, she's immediately pulled back into Lance's orbit and finds that something very strange and dangerous is happening in their little New England town. This is literally the Christmas vacation from hell, and neither of them may survive to see the new year. Okay, what we're going to talk about first of all is the strength of this comic. Timing wise, actually the releases displaying that's uncanny and incredible. Because issue 1 came out in a month in April. I think it was April. Anyway, but it's just incredible timing because whether by luck or not, Panel Syndicate put issue 1 of this new series out almost straight out to DC and Marvel and All Image, or took a break to COVID-19 as a pay what you want download. I've not seen the figures, but they must have been pretty high here straight away from what I've been hearing. Now, the comic itself, Ed Brubaker himself has described this as a post-YA book, like where the kids that solve mysteries and confronting ghosts and monsters also grew up, had the same problems we all do, same struggles and bad habits. Something like his last crime comic, Criminal. Well, not really, but also yes in a way. Well, first of all, the artist isn't Sean Phillips, and while I love Sean's work, I can't wait to see him back in action with Ed in their next comic, Pulp, which is out next month. This is something very different indeed. It kind of reminds me of something akin to Ed's first work, really, Low Life, and many years ago. Ed Brubaker himself compares this to books like The Clock of All The Clock, I've got to get this right, with The House with the Clock in His Walls, or Daniel Pinkwater's The Snark Out Boys, and what he says is his favourite YA book of all time, Harriet the Spy. Like I said, nothing like Fatal or Criminal, Kill or Be Killed, but it is in a way. Another review described it as close to Nancy Drew meets Hellboy, for which I've been reading. I think it's closer to it, but it is really engaging. The mood in the early panels of winter is pure criminal. Friday Fitzhughes only been in King's Hill for half an hour, and already it felt like she'd never left. Strange enough, that opening bit, it kind of caught me out. It made me wonder whether Ed was doing this on purpose to draw people in, before pulling the carpet away to draw you into the world. And it works really, really well. And I mean really well. In this comic, we're introduced to Friday Fitzhugh, a grown-up kid detective in this series, who returns home after a year away. That is when things begin to change. When returning, she is met by her childhood friend, Lancelot Jones, and Sheriff Bixby, investigating a murder involving an ancient dagger. I didn't get it straight away in the first readings, but by the time the halfway stage, it was almost like the Hardy Boys growing up, I felt, and were ready to put away the sleuthing before being dragged back into it almost against her wishes. It seemed quite interesting because Friday herself clearly resents it. The comic develops as sleuthing, and it is to be hoped as the story is developed we'll see more of this, and I suspect we will. Now, the art by Martin is quite different to Sean Phillips, which I expected, but it's slighter, more cartoon-like. He seamlessly moves on from sweet characters to creepy tapestries pretty well. I like the use of the forests with the spaces right at the beginning of it. It gives it almost like it's the forest to feel like it's a character itself. And I think it works really well. It increases the mystery, the depth of what is going on, also the slight horror. I think if I'm honest, I might have been a little disappointed in View's first viewing until I got used to the style, probably because I was maybe too used to seeing Sean Phillips back in adult documentary and all his work nowadays. But once I got used to it on the second and third reading, it really began to charm me, and I'm fully on board by now. Weaknesses. There's not a lot to go here, but there's one or two things I've got to say. It is a comic I think you need to give time to get patience to get going. Particularly if you're more late, you start to follow him through Fatal and Kill or Be Killed and Criminal. But it's a comic that was a real surprise. I've read somewhere that great writers can usually adapt to anything they're interested in, and you can tell from this Ed's chomp at the heels to write this. For me, it just wasn't what I was expecting, considering obviously I'm waiting for Patient as Pulp to come out in August, but it's a great break in the middle. And I can't wait to see what happens next, basically, so it's some case of yes to me. Hopefully, I managed to make it monthly. Well, obviously, there's a 2-month gap already. And considering the project originally was started off in the summer of last year, it could well be one I think it could come out every couple of months. This, but there was 29 pages in the first comic, and it was a great start. Really, really was. This should be a very good series indeed. 9 out of 10. Right, guys, that's all I've got to say. See you all soon. Stay safe. Stay over. Bye.